Now let us learn the new concept respiration. We have learnt that during the process of nutrition, different organisms use different kinds of food. They take in different food and utilize it for various life processes. What actually happens when the organisms take in food? When organisms take in food, the food is broken down inside the cell to release lot of energy. How actually this process is carried out? The breakdown of food is nothing but the process of respiration. How actually the breakdown of food takes place in various organisms? It depends on the body structure. There are different modes how the organisms can break down the food. Some organisms break down the food using the particle called as oxygen, and this oxygen helps to break down the glucose to release carbon dioxide, energy, carbon dioxide and water. But in some other organisms, this is not so. In some organisms, the food breaks down without the using of oxygen. So there are different modes how the glucose is broken down. Now let us learn the pathways how the organisms break down the glucose and what are their end products and the mid products. So what is respiration? Respiration is the process of breakdown of glucose molecule to release lot of energy. The process of breakdown of glucose to release lot of energy is nothing but respiration, or it is also defined as the biochemical oxidation. The biochemical oxidation of glucose or of materials. Materials are nothing but the nutrients. This is also a definition for respiration. The biochemical oxidation of materials or the food or the nutrients. Where actually this respiration takes place? It takes place inside the cell. Inside the cell. So, respiration is a cellular process because it takes place inside the cell of the body. In our syllabus, we are learning 3 modes of breakdown of glucose. The 3 modes are the breakdown of glucose, the breakdown of glucose is nothing but respiration. So we are learning 3 modes of respiration. The first one is breakdown of glucose in presence of oxygen. In presence of oxygen. This is also known as aerobic respiration. The second one is in absence of oxygen. This is also called as anaerobic respiration. And the third type is respiration in lack of oxygen. Lack of oxygen. So these are the three modes of breakdown of glucose we are learning in detail. Now let us learn the breakdown of glucose by various pathways. So we are learning three pathways with the help of this diagram. Before we start the three pathways, let us learn what is common in all the three pathways. The common step is that in the beginning, the glucose molecule, glucose is a 6-carbon molecule. Why it is called a 6-carbon molecule? We know its formula. Its formula is C6H12O6. So, glucose is a 6-carbon molecule. Whatever may be the pathway or the type of the breakdown, initially the glucose molecule is broken down into pyruvate. Pyruvate is a 3-carbon molecule. Pyruvate is also known as pyruvic acid. Its formula is C3H4 and O3. So, pyruvate is a 3-carbon compound. In the beginning, the 6-carbon compound is broken down into 3-carbon compound, that is called as pyruvate. This process of breakdown of 6-carbon molecule to 3-carbon molecule is also known as glycolysis. Glycolysis, very important term. So, the breakdown of 6-carbon molecule into 3-carbon molecule called as pyruvate is known as glycolysis. And this glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. It takes place in the cytoplasm. So, glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. Very important term. Many times this question is asked for 1 mark. What is glycolysis, or where actually the glycolysis takes place? The glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. What is glycolysis? Glycolysis is the breakdown of 6-carbon molecule, that is glucose, into 3-carbon molecule, that is pyruvate. This process is called as glycolysis, and glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. So, pyruvate is also called as the mid product or intermediate product. What it is known as? It is known as intermediate. It's not the final product or the end product. It is the intermediate, the middle product. Now, in all the three processes, in all the three cases, the pyruvate is broken down into different products, final products. Now, let us see the pyruvate, breakdown of pyruvate in the presence of oxygen. In the presence of oxygen, when the glucose is broken down into pyruvate, and pyruvate changes into carbon dioxide, water, and lot of energy is released. More energy is released in the presence of oxygen, and this is also called as aerobic respiration. When the glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen, this process is called as aerobic respiration. And during the aerobic respiration, what are the end products? The end products are carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Where actually this process takes place? The aerobic respiration takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. In the mitochondria of the cell. Now let us see when the glucose breaks down in the absence of oxygen. When the glucose molecule is broken down into pyruvate, and pyruvate it's broken down into in the absence of oxygen, it releases ethanol, carbon dioxide, and energy. In the absence of oxygen, when the pyruvate is broken down or the glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen, the end products are ethanol, carbon dioxide, and energy. Where it takes place? It takes place in the yeast cells. In the yeast cells. So we must know the end products of breakdown of glucose in the absence of oxygen. The end products are ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Less energy is released compared to the aerobic type of respiration. The respiration in the absence of oxygen is also called as anaerobic respiration. This type of respiration is also known as anaerobic respiration. So, during the anaerobic respiration, the energy released is always less than the aerobic respiration. Now, let us see the third type of respiration, that is respiration taking place in lack of oxygen. Means the supply of oxygen is there, but it is not sufficient amount of oxygen. This type of respiration is called as lack of oxygen. And during this process, what are the end products? The end products are lactic acid and energy. Lactic acid is also a 3-carbon molecule. Where actually it takes place? It takes place in our muscle cells. We know that during the heavy exercises, what happens during the heavy exercise, our muscle cells will need more oxygen. During that time, the respiration taken place is nothing but the lack of oxygen. At that time, the lactic acid is released, and this lactic acid gets accumulated in the muscles, in the muscle cells, and this leads to muscle cramps. It leads to muscle cramps, the thickening of muscles. It is nothing but because of the accumulation of lactic acid. So, the breakdown of glucose in lack of oxygen always takes place in the muscle cells. Is that clear? Now let us learn how the energy gets stored in the cell. After the respiration process, whatever may be the type of respiration, whether it is aerobic or anaerobic type of respiration, or the respiration taken place in lack of oxygen. Whatever may be the type of respiration, we have seen the end products includes energy. And this energy is utilized by the organisms for various activities. Then in what form the energy gets stored in the cells? The energy gets stored inside the cells in the form of a molecule called as ATP. ATP molecules or adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate molecules. And this ATP molecule is also known as energy currency. It is also called as energy currency. Very important term. Energy currency. ATP molecules. And this energy currency can be used for most of the cellular processes. So, energy whatever is released during the process of respiration, it gets stored inside the cell in the form of ATP molecules. You know how many molecules of ATP are released during the aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. We have learned that more energy is produced during the process of aerobic respiration than in case of anaerobic respiration. So, for every respiration, during the aerobic respiration, 38 molecules of ATP are released. 38 molecules of ATP are released, whereas only 2 ATP molecules are released during the anaerobic mode of respiration. So that's why we say that more energy is released during the aerobic respiration than in case of anaerobic respiration. According to the syllabus, we are learning aerobic respiration. We are learning aerobic respiration in detail. First, we will learn how the aerobic respiration takes place in plants. We must also know that the aerobic organisms need to ensure that there is sufficient intake of oxygen all the time. How about the plants? the plants, in plants, the exchange of gases takes place through the stomata. The exchange of gases takes place through the stomata. We have learnt already what is stomata. Stomata is a tiny pore. They are the tiny pores found on the surface of the leaves. So, through these pores, the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. And this exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide through the stomata, it takes place by the process called as diffusion. It is by the process called as diffusion. What is diffusion? Diffusion is the process where the molecules move from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So, by this diffusion, the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place through the stomata. And this oxygen circulates to each and every cell of the plants. Now, let us see how actually the direction of diffusion depends. The direction of diffusion depends upon the environmental conditions. That is why during the day, plants give out oxygen, whereas during the night, plants give out carbon dioxide. This is because of diffusion. While during the day, plants give out oxygen and at night, carbon dioxide. The simple reason is during the day, the photosynthesis will be carried out. The photosynthesis will be carried out by the plants, and we know that during the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is one of the end product or the product of the photosynthesis, and the amount of oxygen produced inside the plant body will be more than the environment. So, the oxygen is diffused out during the day. Plants give out oxygen during the day, and at night the plants give out carbon dioxide. The reason is there is no photosynthesis takes place at night, and the amount of carbon dioxide inside the plant will be more than outside the plant body, that is in the environment. So the carbon dioxide is diffused out. This is the reason why the plants give out oxygen during the day and carbon dioxide at night. During the day, as there is photosynthesis and oxygen is one of the end product, and the oxygen produced during the day will be more and it is diffused out. But it is reversed in case of night. At night, there is no photosynthesis and carbon dioxide will be more inside the plant cell than the outside. So, the carbon dioxide is diffused out. We have learnt stomata. We have learnt stomata are the site of exchange of gases, help in the exchange of gases. But is that correct? Only stomata help in the exchange of gases? Of course it is correct. But what if the plants grows taller and bigger? As the plants grow taller and older, some other parts of the plants also help in the exchange of gases other than stomata. What are those parts which help in the exchange of gases in the older trees? In the older trees, the roots or root hair. Root hair is one of the important part of the plant which help in the exchange of gases. In the older trees, help in the exchange of gases. Apart from the roots, the lenticels, that is the stem. On the stem, we find lenticels. lenticels also help in the exchange of gases. So stomata, root hair and the lenticels, these are the parts of the plants which help in the exchange of gases. Very important from the point of exams in the older trees.